Bowser's got pure incel vibes. Like the whole time, he's like, this girl won't get me. Well, I'll show them. And
there's so many games where he gets progressively more and more aggressive in trying to force her to be with him in whatever regard. The first game, he's just like, I'm going to turn everybody, including the king of the Mushroom Kingdom, into blocks.
Yeah,
I win, and then Mario defeats him. He has a princess just because he doesn't want to turn a princess into blocks for whatever reason. After that, he starts getting more and more obsessed with her. So he becomes more and more obsessed. I wouldn't say that's a different type of issue.
Do you think there's an arc for Bowser where he doesn't start obsessed with Peach, but then he gets there. He's like, you know what?
I think he starts a little and gets more and more and more. Yeah.
YUNKJunk! What makes a video game great? Is it the hero? No, it's the villain. It's always the villain. So today we're talking about villains of great games. We're talking King Koopa. We're talking Robotnik. We're talking Bowser.
Those are low-level villains.
Those are low-level villains. Let's get into it. What's a high-level villain?
I know it's cliche, but high-level villain is somebody who wants to remake the universe or the world in their image.
Sephiroth.
You got a Sephiroth. You got a Dr. Doom. You got a somebody else.
Kefka from Final Fantasy VI. I don't know if you ever played Final Fantasy VI.
I never played Final Fantasy VI.
Final Fantasy VI released as Final Fantasy
Japan,
3
right?
in the United States.
Exactly. So Kefka is one of mine.
Okay.
Because he's an evil clown, first of all. But he's like one of the most pure evil beings, and he really gets into it on a human level. Like, one of the first things he does is he's like, there's all these people downstream. I'm going to poison the stream, and then everyone in that town will die, and then we'll get to go take it over easy. And he does this, and it goes into like the agony that all the people, Final Fantasy really digs into it.
Dude, I am a huge fan of evil for evil's sake.
Yeah, and that's something I realize people crave in a villain. And I know that's something, like, I always find unrealistic, but it's still fun. Because for the most part, in the real world, even if someone's behaving in an evil fashion, they think they're doing a good thing.
Yeah.
But in cartoons and movies,
you have villains that are like, I want to do bad things because I love bad things.
Yeah,
and it makes me feel good to do bad things, and you're like, you feel better stopping them because it's unequivocal.
I love when an author or somebody will bring that up of like, oh, you think I'm doing that? There's a great Grant Morrison had a run on Batman where he did this depiction of the Joker where he had two switchblades, slick back hair, and was just like ready to fight. And there's a line that he says to Batman where he's kind of like, I want to kill you because I hate you, because I hate everything. I want to kill everything. And then he goes on to say, oh, you think that I am I am the other side of you. We're yin and yang. No, that's just Wikipedia. I just want to see the world burn. And I'm like, yes, that is a great villain. It doesn't always have to make sense. You can just want to be bad.
Yeah, and I think that's something I'm coming around to. Because I used to be like, oh, I like a grounded story where there's not really a bad guy, just people with opposing force. But you're right, like there is that theatricality of like, I'm just evil. It's fun. Yeah, and especially in something like a video game where it's very oppositional, right? Yeah. You are versus something.
Yeah, most video games, you're not going to meet up with the villain and be like, let's talk this out. Well, let me see it from your point of view. It's like, no, let me stomp on your head, let me drop you some lava, and then you'll give back the people you kidnapped or the people you turned into bricks? Is that the original story of Mario Brothers?
That's the original story of Mario Brothers, yeah.
The toads into bricks?
He turned the toads into bricks.
Yeah.
And then Mario smashes them up.
Smashes all the bricks.
Mario's kind of evil.
The turtles.
Well, the original story was that there was the mushroom retainers were turned into bricks. And then Mario Smash kills them.
Yeah.
Like, they're not coming back.
I mean,
well, they turned into coins.
Yeah,
it doesn't say they're not coming back.
I guess that's...
Wait, are the coins your souls?
The coins? Oh, no, now it's getting dark.
Well, you can collect coins much like you can collect souls. So, yes.
Yeah, you know, it's so easy to collect souls.
That's right.
Just pluck them up off the ground.
Shang Tsung would agree.
But then you go...
Sorry.
Shang Tsung.
I was going to say, there's a villain. Especially from what I remember of the original Mortal Kombat games. I'm hoping I'm not mixing things up with the movies. Shang Tsung was like, I want to take over Earthrealm. We have these rules of this tournament you have to follow. So I'm going to try my best to rig the tournament so we win. And that's kind of sort. You're trying to beat him to stop him from taking over Earthrealm and making it hell on Earth. When you beat him, his boss is like, okay, now I'm going to do it.
Shao Kahn.
It's like, now it's my turn. Marvel stole that from them, definitely. For the Thanos thing, where he's like, oh, now it's my turn. Like, they stole that whole storyline.
Stole that from Mortal Kombat?
Stole it from Mortal Kombat, yes.
Even though... What? Infinity Gauntlet was written before that.
Yeah,
James Starlin was before Mortal Kombat.
And didn't have the same setup of he didn't send like, what's the name of his Desaad?
What's his
Thanos'
Desaad?
Desaad. Yeah.
Oh, he has the 5, the Cabal or whatever it is.
Yeah, and Gamora was one of them, right? Yeah, but like he didn't send them as a vanguard to try to take over, try to go to Infinity Stones, and then he did it himself. He went after himself originally, I thought. Or am I misremembering Infinity? We're getting off topic.
Thanos is Shao Kahn.
Basically the same.
But yeah, so it was a villain who wanted to take over a realm, take over a people, and destroy their souls, destroy their livelihoods.
Well, he wanted to eat their souls because his eternal youth comes from souls.
Yeah, so that's even more evil and selfish. He just wanted to make himself live forever and more powerful.
Yeah, see, I like it. I can get behind that.
Yeah, and I think there's two types of villain motivations, right? When we're talking about pure evil, there's villains who want to obtain power, and then there's villains who already have power and abuse it. And those, I think, there's two very different types, right?
I agree. Those are definitely two different camps of
and
villains.
there are villains who are villains due to logic. For example, computer villains in a lot of these. Portal is just logically
and Portal,
the enemy because it's logic.
And Gladys is one of the best villains in all the video games. But yeah, her whole deal is that she's programmed to test humans, and all she wants to do is test. And like anything that gets in the way of that testing is bad, is wrong.
Yeah.
So she's gonna do what she can to perpetually test the same human over and over again.
Which is essentially just like the lady who works in accounting who was like, you are not getting in my way from finishing my assignment today and going home to see my family.
Yes.
Gladys. Same name.
Same name.
Yeah. And then you have, the whole thing with like dystopian futures where AIs are like, oh yeah, to save humans from themselves, I have to destroy humans and they can't hurt themselves, which is an extreme corruption of the logic they're built on.
Has anybody thought of an alternative to that?
Well,
like where an AI would be like, I want to protect the humans, so I'll protect the humans.
I think, I can just, I feel like that's like maybe
in
like,
an altruistic sense. Yeah, because it always becomes a hell situation.
Is that kind of what like what WALL-E was about though? Like,
how do I protect them
like
from
technology
themselves?
was all about keeping humans safe and made them so safe and so cared for that they didn't know how to care for themselves anymore because the AI did everything. I think that's kind of like the setup for that, right?
Oh yeah. So there's different AIs in WALL-E, right?
Oh, okay.
But like the ship AI is like, well, I'm just going to keep these humans safe. Earth is never going to be repopulated because these people don't know how to care for themselves. So I want to keep them on the ship forever. And then, WALL-E comes back with proof that there are plants and life can grow on Earth again. And the ship's like, no, don't do that. And WALL-E's like, well, but I'm in love with that robot. And that robot has the plant. And that brings the humans back. And the humans are, to be fair, useless in the whole thing. WALL-E is like one of the best movies ever made. There was never a video game made of WALL-E, was there?
There might have been like
sure there was.
PlayStation 2 tie-in.
I think he was like had cameo appearances in a couple things. Like, I don't think there's a WALL-E video game.
You know what there should have been? And it probably could have been a tie-in to Wreck-It Ralph. They should have made like a Rob the Robot style game, like Gyromite?
Gyromite, yeah.
They should have done that with WALL-E. Like within the...
Oh, like a licensed?
Yeah. And just re-released it.
Yeah, I mean, they could have. That would have been kind of cool.
That's a wonderful game.
I wonder what... so this is labeled the Weird WALL-E game for PC, but
this far... This is like cutscenes from the movie.
It did come out. And it got a 51 on Metacritic.
Wait, was the game called Pixar?
That was a cool graphic, Pulp. I love it.
There was a video game. I stand corrected. Oh, wow.
Yeah, but if it's not on consoles, does it count?
Apparently, it was PlayStation 3.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. We were wrong.
All right.
Realistic.
Well, I'm going to go play this WALL-E video game, even though they say it's terrible.
While you were saying that, I was thinking of like the classic Disney idea around villains is make villains villainous, which is why so many people were scared out of their minds when they first saw Maleficent or something like that, of like make your villains scary and evil and bad. Yeah. Like that is a thing. However, there's another type of villain that is apocalyptic. And we see this in Earthbound and we see this in Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Because they're not exactly conscious. Maybe, I mean, Lavos certainly isn't conscious of what it's doing. It's just a weird porcupine.
It wants to grow and eat and feed, and that's kind of what it does.
Yeah. But I don't think it has. I don't think it's consciously evil.
Is explain where Lavos comes from?
Lavos is an asteroid
okay.
and that lands and burrows deep into the core of the Earth and grows.
It became a larva that became
until the day of Lavos happens, where it blows up most humanity.
So it's the plot of Eternals. Eternals told the plot, the big bad part of it, at least from Chrono Trigger.
Much more boring.
Yes,
Chrono Trigger is so good.
Yes, but that is a
it's kind of more
being.
like a force of nature sort of thing.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
But I would argue...
Like how the bad guy in Twister is a twister.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Twister is a twister. The bad guy in Twisters is capitalism. Basically, specifically land grabbing. And I was like, there's no reason to make that movie. Not to get into a tangent. It sucked. It was not better than Twister. It had no connection to Twister. Besides, like, they went to the same school. It was bad.
We're talking about Earthbound is interesting because Gygus is supposed to be the embodiment of evil and hatred.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so he's always
but he's evil. An idea.
But yeah, he's an idea. It's like he doesn't have a will aside from lashing out with pain and malice, but there's not really a thought process. Like Gygus, when you fight Gygus, it's terrifying. It's one of the best boss fights in the world because it's just like, it hurts, and then it hits you. And it's just this creepy thing.
Well, and then eventually it shows your face
as
like the face of, and then
it's wearing the mask of Ness to start.
And then Pokey, who I think originally was Porky, is infected by this thing, right? That's kind of the idea.
Well, he comes to like worship
willingly.
He worships it and wants to bring Gygus into the world. Porky is really the main villain for most of the game
because he has an agency, unlike Gygus.
Exactly, and he is kind of like a neighbor of Ness in the beginning. They grow up in the same town, but his whole backstory is that he's spoiled, and his parents are like beat the kids. Like that's in the game. Like they beat the kids, but they give them all these toys and stuff, and so they're spoiled rotten. And Porky, for whatever reason, grows to like hate Ness, and then finds this out about Gygus. It's like, oh, malevolent, pure evil. I want a piece of that, and so brings it upon himself.
I want a piece of that. Yeah, I mean, that starts with a comet landing, right? They go up to the mountain
Earthbound as well.
To see something happening.
Does
I mean, now, spoiler alert. Pokey, it depends.
He's both.
Yeah, shows up in Mother 3.
Yes,
as old man Pokey.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. If you, I mean, Super Eye Patch Wolf, if you're familiar with that YouTube page, has a great Mother 3 video. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
I got Super Eye Patch Wolf, the YouTuber, mixed up with the game that was about the President of the United States in the mech.
Oh, what was that game called?
It was Super Wolf something, I think. Super Wolf Chaos?
Who was the bad guy in that game?
Communism, probably?
Yeah.
What's your favorite villain? Who's your favorite villain? Who sticks out to you?
I guess in Last Encounter, Gygus is like one of the best.
Yeah.
Kefka is one, like the thing I hate the most. Like when Kefka's doing like just really evil stuff just to be evil. And like there's a scene in the middle of the game where it's the end of the world. And he's kind of like, oh, I serve the Emperor, Gestalt. And the Emperor's like, yeah, I'm the big bad. But then Kefka kills him, tosses him carelessly off of like this floating sky island, and then enacts the end of the world. Like they blow up the world in that game. It becomes the world of ruin, and almost everyone dies. And that's dark.
Yeah,
and it's just like
Super Nintendo too.
Super Nintendo, but like a malevolent, like I'm just evil for the sake of evil, but like the kind of action, not like cartoony evil. Like this is like true dark evil. Yeah.
You know who was not a great villain, but was to me personally, was Whizpig in Diddy's Kong Racing.
Yeah.
That is one of the hardest ending races to do in any kart racer I've ever played. That was
that game
friggin' hard.
Game was tough.
I mean, that was
really hard.
I think I did break a controller over Whizpig. I think I was cursing Whizpig out, and I'm all like 9 years old. Just like cursing at this TV. I was like, I was so upset.
Yeah, and a lot of that, when it comes to video games, the gameplay can inform the villainy, right?
Yeah.
And in that case, like, yeah, you hate that guy.
Mm-hmm.
He moves way faster than he should. He takes up the whole road.
Yep.
That game's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I tried, I think I 100% of that game, but it
Me too.
took years off my
Yeah,
life.
it was awful.
Yeah. Like, you had to do those hairpin turns.
In a plane.
Like perfectly.
Well, I mean, what was it? They what's the water vehicle called?
The hovercraft.
Hovercraft. That was so hard. I hated hovercrafts. Boo, hovercrafts.
See, I love the hovercraft, but I understand not like.
Now they did nerf it a little bit to make it more fun to play when they re-released it on 3DS. Absolutely more fun to play. Like, it was too damn hard.
Yeah.
There's another villain named Mizar, which is in Jet Force Gemini, which I've brought up on this show many times.
I still have to start that. I have it. I have the cartridge because of you.
Oh,
Again, brutal final battle. Very frustrating, very angry. It literally took me years to beat that game. I had a buddy, like a gamer buddy, and if you had a sleepover, we would give it an attempt. So it was like, maybe 2 nights out of the year, you would give it or out of the month, give it an attempt. I mean, it took like 6 months. It was so damn hard.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
I was gonna say, who's the bad guy in Doom? Because I've never gotten to the end of it.
So I was about to bring up Doom.
Okay.
And just like id games in general, like they pick great classic villains you can't argue with. Like Wolfenstein is the Nazis, and like they're like, we're gonna take the Nazis but make them cooler and eviler. We're gonna put Hitler in a mech suit. That's the boss.
Is
Hitler in a
it
mech
him
suit.
or his head in the mech suit?
It starts as him and then it's his head.
And then it's his head.
But then Doom is the forces of hell, right? It's the forces of hell. You can't argue. They're evil.
Yeah.
You want to kill all the demons.
Yep.
Demons are bad. You can't argue like, oh, they're misunderstood. No, they're demons.
But do you go up against like Satan at the end?
You don't. So the first game, the last boss is called the Spider Mastermind, and he's just like
Then spider.
a brain demon on a spider mech.
Can I see it, Dill?
Yeah, look up Spider Mastermind. Should be the first result. But he's not like the leader of hell or anything.
Okay.
Doom 2, which I think is more interesting. Yeah, that's the second one there. No, this is the new
that's
version.
the re-release.
Yeah, this is the original Doom.
Oh yeah. Oh, look how smooth that is.
It's so smooth. It was always 60 frames a second. You had the right machine. Got your 486. Yeah. Oh, I died so much on this level. Brings back.
You're playing too efficiently. Get to the boss. Where you?
Yeah. Well, they're collecting all the rockets around the peripheral.
I mean, was the game you were thinking of earlier Hitler in a mech suit
No, it was definitely the President of the United States. It's a Japanese game.
versus Hitler in a mech suit?
No.
Somebody should make that game.
Yeah.
Well, they did. It's
And
Doom.
just call- yeah.
I mean, Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein.
But call it that.
There he
Hitler in a
is.
mech suit, the game.
Yeah,
So
that's
this
going to
guy-
sell real well.
This guy freaked me out, and just like having him go, like you
I
can't
don't see him. Where is he?
see he has hit
Oh,
scan,
you can go back there.
so you never want to be in sight of him. That's the problem. Like
Yeah.
when you see him, he's hurting you. Is one of the problems because
I see.
he's got a chain gun. But nobody thinks of the Spider Master. They all think of the Cyber Demon, who was the second
that's all I
boss
ever
in this
think of.
game,
Oh, okay.
and that's kind of what people like to think of. Like, oh, that's the big Doom villain. But
You're like, no, this is the big bad of Doom.
yeah, no, well, Doom 2 is my favorite. So that ended with the Icon of Sin, and look that up. The Icon of Sin, Doom 2.
I kind of was it like an obelisk type thing?
It was a giant wall that
Okay, it was a wall.
Yeah,
I
it was
thought
a
so.
wall that was like the head of a skeletal, almost goat-looking demon.
Looks like they reused a bunch of these in the.
And the
Yeah,
new
they
one.
took the
Later
ideas
Dooms.
again. So, the whole point of this one is it's a wall. It's not an actual like moving creature picking up all the stuff. But you go, when he turns right, you will see the icon. Oh no. It's funny. All these playthroughs are like, don't look at the boss. Just look around the boss.
What's
Why are you
that?
shooting? So that's the soul sphere. That gives you health. That's the Icon of Sin. That giant thing in the background.
You gotta pause it next time it flashes past.
Trying to watch Doom,
Yeah, there it is.
the series.
The Icon of Sin. So it's this giant evil
Somewhere.
skull, and it's got this flesh that's open on his forehead.
Jeez.
And you don't know how to fight it. You don't know what to do in this level. The enemies spawn endlessly.
I just like to point. So you went from going to church, playing Captain Bible, and then coming home to your computer and playing this, right?
The duality of man.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, absolutely. But so this was really
Amazing.
cool because the only way to beat him is to shoot rockets into that part of his forehead.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't aim up in Doom. That's not a thing.
Oh no!
So you have to take this pillar, goes up and down, and you have to time your shots going up and down, and you shoot into it. But what's crazy is eventually you shoot it and it blows up and you win. You see an ending screen. But if you use cheat codes, ID clip, you type that in, you can go through walls.
Mm-hmm.
And you walk through into the middle, and it turns out that on the other side of that wall is the head of John Romero, one of the creators of Doom, on a stick. His disembodied head. So he is
that what you're actually hitting when
you're actually hitting him, and he has like a pain animation when you hit him. Like he's it almost looks like Vigo the Carpathian when he's in pain.
That's funny.
So John Romero is inside the icon of sin. He is actually the heart of evil.
That is exciting. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and I thought that was like an awesome Easter egg in this game.
Who's the bad guy in Mass Effect series?
So I was trying to think of the best one to pick. So I definitely was going to pick one from Mass Effect. But so the overarching bad guy villain is the Reapers.
Yeah.
They're these machine entities that live in another galaxy.
They're Langoliers, if you're familiar.
Gotcha. Boom. Yeah. Immediately I just put them into that 1994 made-for-TV movie.
Yep. Yeah, and there's like every 50,000 years, they wipe out all sentient life that is above, like any life that can build things, like humans, they wipe them all out. Give them 50,000 years to start over again, wipe them out again. For no real reason besides they were built by sentients, and they were rogue AIs that were like, we think sentients are terrible, but we're going to let them grow to maturity, think they've mastered space travel in themselves, and then destroy them because we're all powerful. Ha ha ha. So it's just petty robots.
Yeah.
For millions of years, they've done this in a cycle.
Robots.
Just being petty. And then, but then like the first scion of them you fight is a boss of Mass Effect 1. He's a Spectre. That's what you play as, a Spectre. He's this, they're like elite soldiers. He's a Spectre named Saren. And he was your partner at one point, or he was your trainer, I think, at one point. And he basically got screwed over by the government and decided, you know what? I got screwed over. I'm going to help the evil, petty robots destroy everything because I'm also petty, because I got passed over for a promotion because of you.
You, the player.
Yeah, you, the player. It's like, you caused me to not get my goal in life, which was to be, the best Spectre ever. So I'm going to destroy all life in the universe, including myself. Because he was so petty and self-destructive that he didn't care if he had to destroy everybody to get revenge at you.
Yeah, next level pettiness is always fun to watch.
Yeah, and it's fun because during the game, you're like, oh, Saren's brainwashed. There's no way that he, wanted to protect all life. That's why he wanted to be a Spectre. There's no way he wants to destroy everything. Turns out, no, he was just petty as shit. Yeah. He was not brainwashed. He's like, no, I'm in my right mind. Just F all of y'all. And then you have to take him down. And then he gets, you fight him as a person. So you're trying to hit this person-sized character, like it's turn-based, but it's still hard because he's small and far away and sniping at you. So you're trying to counter-snipe him. You're trying to hit him with powers, knock him out of cover. You take him down with enough health, and the second phase of the fight starts where the Reaper takes control of his mind. It's like, now he's brainwashed, and now he has superpowers from this petty robot AI. And you have to fight him as a brainwashed Reaper. It was just it was funny because he was a villain for petty personal reasons.
I love that.
And he was willing to destroy the universe because of it. And he was so petty. Oh, he was working for somebody even pettier than him. Where he loses, and they're like, we're not going to let you lose. We're going to puppet your body to make sure you win, because we have to win because we're so petty. And the ultimate outcome of the series is you have to find a way to fight them, live with them, or supplant them and basically merge with them and be like, we're all one being. So now you can't destroy yourself without destroying yourself.
Wow.
Now, that's part of why Mass Effect 3's ending was so controversial, because people like those are crappy choices. But thematically, it makes sense because it's like, oh, they've been mistreated and left behind by their sentient creators. And they want to destroy all other sentients to make sure that doesn't happen. But you can become one with them. And you're all just semi-AI, semi-flesh beings that live in harmony. They don't want harmony. They want to destroy because arguably they're evil because of that. But is it less evil to destroy them back? Like, that's kind of the quandary you face at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting. Like you bring up the idea of like melding like semi-flesh, semi-robotic. Like that is a big theme in video games. A lot of video games have that like
symbiosis.
or just cyborg sort of
Mechabiology.
And
Mechabiology.
I think of like
transorganic.
Going back to id stuff, like they turned Quake. The later Quake games had the Quake 2 had the Strogg, which were basically like, we're robot necromancers. Basically, they were like, we're gonna use robots that use human flesh to make these scary people. And I guess their whole thing was we want to keep growing, like kind of like the Borg. It's a lot like the Borg in Star Trek, but gruesomer. Like what if the Borg were on like a heavy metal album cover? Kind of like that.
If the Borg was also Hellraiser.
Yes, if the Borg was Hellraiser.
The Borg was Cenobites.
So while you guys were saying that, I was thinking, we're talking about ultimate villains. But what about the characters that are villains, but not the main villain? The one that comes to mind is, I was thinking, little shout out, the Mentok, Mentok, is this dude who does all of these like long form video game documentaries, my favorite thing. He just wrapped up in October, he wrapped up his Metroid series. And I was thinking, Mother Brain is the ultimate
I was talking
villain.
about Mother Brain earlier.
However, Ridley is who we all remember as the villain.
Yeah.
And Kraid to a lesser extent.
Yeah, but
secondary villains. What are memorable secondary villains you can think of that might even outshine the main villain? Because I would argue Ridley outshines Mother Brain in lore.
Well, because when you come down to it, if I'm not mistaken, Mother Brain's just like a space pirate queen who wants to get rich and control stuff.
I think she's just well, wait a minute. Are you bringing in Captain N?
Yeah. I think there's some Captain N coming in.
Your little Captain N in there.
Yeah, little Captain N.
She never spoke. It's just a brain that then turned into a chicken, and you had to take it down with a rainbow laser.
I thought she would, but she was the
and
leader of the space pirates, right?
On your way out.
Only
Captain
Captain
N. She was
N.
the leader of the space pirates.
Yeah,
I think.
she didn't speak to Samus and to us. She spoke to somebody or gained control somehow.
Well, eventually I know she became an AI named MB in Metroid Other M because I watched the Mentok video.
That's a whole other issue.
Oh God, that's right. I guess that's technically canon, isn't it?
I don't know because they've ignored it ever since.
Yeah.
So,
but anyway, there are secondary villains,
and a lot of the time, they usually steal the scene. They often do,
like Mauser.
Wait, what's Mauser?
the mouse in Mario 2.
With sunglasses in Mario 2.
Yes. Oh yeah, he was
showing up Wart.
Probably cooler than Wart.
Although the flaming head was the coolest thing.
Yeah, Fry Guy.
Fry Guy.
Yeah.
Terrible name. Which is the same
name.
It's the McDonald's character.
It's the same name as the McDonald's character.
No, this one actually fries thing. That guy is a fry guy. He's a guy that fries.
They were the fry guys. There were a couple of them.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to say Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
He was the ultimate boss of the game he premiered in, but he was not designed as a villain per se. He became a villain he was basically Robotnik's.
He was used.
Yeah, he was used.
As was Knuckles, actually.
Actually, I guess Knuckles is probably a better. No, Knuckles was just doing his job. Knuckles did nothing wrong. He was used. I don't think
he was tricked. Knuckles was tricked.
Yeah, Knuckles was tricked.
Shadow was designed as a weapon for evil.
He was he was designed by Robotnik's uncle or grandpa, and then he was corrupted by trauma. But ultimately, he was made. That's the thing I don't get. He was made by Robotnik's grandfather, based off of like some kind of DNA he got from Sonic at some point in the past. To do what?
To be the ultimate weapon.
Against who?
A giant chaos lizard.
If you didn't happen to have...
It makes sense if you really dig into this stuff.
If you didn't happen to have his source material show up, you would have succeeded.
Well, you just made an interesting wrinkle in my question, though, because now there are sub-villains who get spin-off games.
Yeah, and I think that...
And playing as the villain is
one
fun.
thing I think of is like villains who become allies and like frenemies.
Like Wario?
Well, yeah, Wario's great. There's a lot of examples.
Magus, Chrono Trigger.
Exactly. That's a huge one. And by the same token, Vegeta in Dragon Ball, very similar.
But it also fulfills...
They're also drawn by the same...
And their face is almost the same thing.
But it also fulfills the sub-boss to the boss. Yeah. Because Vegeta's only there because Frieza sent him. So Frieza's Vegeta's boss, but Vegeta's first boss you face in a Dragon Ball game.
Here's one that bothered me.
Game.
Ninja Turtles games. Ninja Turtles games always almost ended with Shredder as the big bad, right? Mm-hmm. And they would make the sub boss Krang. But I always thought Krang was like he's like Krang. He's enslaves Dimension X. He is a bigger boss than like Ninja Guy from Japan.
If I remember correctly, Krang came later. Like Shredder was already set up as like, I'm going to be a big villain.
Yeah.
And then he started working with Krang after he was like, I'm a villain.
After he was
like established
I
already.
think he was resuscitated by Krang because he dies.
Like the turtles kill him, and then yeah. But he was already a villain. That's why he died in the first place. Like
Yes,
it wasn't
true.
like he didn't rise to power because of Krang.
Yeah.
He was working with Krang, and they were kind of backstabbing each other.
Well, he's
a lot.
like, yeah, and I want to
But the
use your
Krang
power and your
yeah.
technology from Dimension X, and he's like, well, I want my body.
Well,
Yeah.
Turtles in Time, I would argue the Krang fight is more fun than the Shredder fight.
Yeah, I think all the games it's more, and every time I beat Krang in one of those games, I'm like, oh, anticlimax. Now I got to fight
not
Shredder.
TMNT, the arcade game on NES.
See,
that Krang fight
I
is
always
boring.
forget about that one.
I like that because he kicks you and you
Yeah,
fly.
you punch a guy in the stomach for a bunch, and then you fight Shredder, and he teleports around and makes clones. That's a much more interesting fight than punch a guy in the stomach a bunch.
Krang, when he dies, he's the little brain floating up and down. He's like, I am invincible, and he flies away. And I was like, that's so charming, man.
You just like Krang more. Doesn't
I
make him a
just like
better
Krang
boss.
more. Yeah, and he had I had the Krang action figure, which was big. It was like a foot tall.
Yeah.
Had the little Krang.
Can you guys think of any sub villains that assist you in the final fight?
That
Besides,
definitely
like,
happens.
Meg, I guess
well, I mean,
it's not
in
the
the
same thing,
several
yeah.
of the Mario RPGs, like Bowser becomes a part of your
Yeah.
party.
Hey, now we're
Bowser
talking.
versus Smithy. You would argue,
Which I started on YUNKJunk Saturdays. I'm doing
Oh,
Saturday
nice.
Oh,
streams.
nice.
And I got to the first Hammer Brother, and I wanted to cry. It's so beautiful and so perfect. But Smithy is a great villain who's just being evil for evil's sake.
Yeah.
Because he wants to fill the world with weapons. That's it.
He's a sentient giant sword who just wants more weapons.
Well, technically, he's not the sword. He's inside the sword. He's like the smithy.
Oh, okay.
So he smiths all the weapons, and all the weapons are personified.
I forgot that. Yeah.
So he wants to
so
fill
he's
the
just
world
a guy
with
with a
his,
hammer
with his
trying
weapon.
to
He wants to
smelt
make his
things.
own weapon family.
Nope. He says literally word for word, I want to fill the world with weapons. And that's it.
So it's the opposite of the Coca-Cola jingle from like the 70s.
Yeah.
I want to fill the world with war.
But a couple other one that comes to mind also. A lot of these come from the goofy cartoon angle.
Yeah.
But like Kirby, King Dedede is the big bad in the first one, and then he kind of becomes a frenemy, just straight up friend in future.
Well,
installments.
Did he help fight against Meta Knight or something in like the later one?
No,
No.
it's Nightmare. So in
Nightmare.
Kirby's Adventure, he's trying to stop you from putting the Star Rod in because he knows the reason he stole the Star Rod is to prevent it from getting put in that fountain, which will release Nightmare. So there's this cool little cutscene. And it's, I love 2D Kirby cutscenes. I think they're just the best.
Yeah.
Where he's like dragging on your feet and Kirby's like, no, get out of my way, man. And then he puts the thing down and then the whole thing, shakes to black and you get this really cool villain Nightmare, which
So
I
Kirby's
think
the
returned to Dreamland?
Yeah, and Return to Dreamland.
So
Again.
Kirby's the villain the whole time in that game?
Kind of.
Or the sub-boss, because he helps release the boss.
Well, yeah, Kirby's
Kirby's a bit of a villain.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of just a thoughtless inhaling machine that eats things.
Majin
He's
Buu.
sentient beings. Yeah, he's like Majin Buu.
I don't remember if in Mega Man, was it 7 when Bass was introduced?
He was introduced in 7.
So he wasn't playable in 7. You played against him in 7.
Correct.
And then does he help you with Wily at the end? I don't remember. I know Proto Man
But
kind
Proto
of
Man
does.
I think Proto Man
in
fits that
Proto Man
mold,
3. Yeah,
because
he's a sub boss, and then he
He's
helps
an
you against.
antagonist who helps you later.
Yeah.
Well, Breakman is the antagonist who's actually Proto Man under a mask.
Oh yes. To be fair,
Different guy, well, same guy, but yeah.
I mean he's technically correct. Best type of correct.
Yes.
But Vile to Sigma in the Mega Man X series.
I mean, I feel like
Vile comes back in Mega Man X3, which is just crazy.
Yeah, I feel like Viral more is like, I'm done working for Sigma. I'm out.
Dude.
Less than I'm going to help you. He's like, I don't get paid enough for this.
Did you ever play the Mega Man X remake? Because if you beat it, you
The, like,
can play
Maverick
through
Hunter one?
again as Vile.
Oh no, yeah, Maverick Hunter. Yeah, I haven't played that. There was like on
which
PSP,
is
I
awesome.
think.
Yeah, I mean, nobody played
Originally,
it because it
but
was
yeah.
I got so lucky that one of my college roommates had one of those friggin' things.
Oh,
And
nice.
so I got to play the whole thing. It was so
Oh,
awesome.
you get to play as you two got like the shoulder cannon. And
Yeah.
all? Oh, that's awesome.
Pretty cool. But yes, there was later Rockman and Forte on Mega Man and Bass, later released on Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, and I think there was
I think it was GBA.
It was on PS1, I think, even too.
Yeah, that
I think 7
I
and
don't
8 were Yeah, because that was 8. Ocarina of Forte.
Technically,
that a
but then
separate
Mega
game?
Man 8 came out on
and the 8 when you could
PlayStation.
fully play was him or it was.
No. That's
I'm
when
thinking
they
of Mega Man the
switched.
Fight. Yeah.
Mega Man 8 is when it went to PlayStation exclusively.
Okay.
And I guess it was
Oh,
Dr.
yeah.
Wily, but there was the animation change.
Yeah. It was completely over animated.
You hate Mega Man 7, don't you?
I don't enjoy playing it. Like I don't hate it. I respect
Was
it.
7
but
one
like,
with Turbo Man? That was like
Mhm.
basically
it's
a car.
Indigo car. Yeah.
He's like a
And
motorcycle
Vampire Man.
But the
Shade
issue,
Man.
the issue with Mega Man 7, I feel the villain of that is the sprites are too
Yeah.
like, and you jump and you hit your head, and you're just like, come on. But it's so I played through it, and I was like, it's not my favorite. There's a lot of great Mega Mans. It's probably better than a lot of other ones, but
Oh, okay. Who's a better Doctor villain, Dr. Wily or Dr. Robotnik?
Better villain, I would say Dr. Wily. He's much more successful in making contraptions that can defeat the hero. The problem is all of his contraptions have the downside of being compatible with the hero. So he repeats his creations and he just takes their powers and adds them to his own.
when they're both very persistent, right? Because Wily's done it 11 times now, like over and over and over
It's
and
like-
over.
Close to 100 robots and that's his bosses that you fight over those games. He's at least 100 robots.
But he's also responsible for creating Zero.
Yeah.
What has Dr. Robotnik created that has helped
Metal
Sonic?
Sonic. Oh, help Sonic.
Metal Sonic does rule. That is
Metal Sonic is a great creation. Yeah,
probably
I would say
better
he
than
helped
any
Sonic,
robot
but-
master. Ooh.
Yeah, but Robotnik, all right, what's eviler? So he was turning animals.
He's building
into
them into
robots.
not even
Shoot
turning them. He was
bunnies.
building them into the machines.
Yes.
So much so that you destroy them and the animals jump out because they're still alive. They're just trapped inside these bee machines.
And Wily just sort of generically
Fair.
wants to take over the world, right? And like,
He just wants to show he has a better creations
If you
than
can,
Dr. Light and his safe robots.
there's an amazing. You remember Mega Man the series?
Yeah.
So in one of those episodes, and they gave him like this crazy German voice type thing. In one of the thing, he says what his quest is, and he says, "My quest is energy, just to get the world's energy."
So he was just Megatron. Okay.
yeah, Megatron just wanted the Energon cubes.
But
all
he
the
was a
time.
human who just wanted energy.
So he can build more robots. He didn't have enough energy to build
Maybe.
robots. Or they're fuelless robots, maybe. I don't know. But yeah,
Ooh, yeah, I might.
It's funny. So like,
This was tough.
it's Dr. Robotnik has built space stations and Death Stars.
Literally a Death Star, the Death Egg.
He had a hand in, if not created, the big lizard thing in Sonic Adventure 2 that you fight.
In later games, he released it.
He released it. His grandfather made it, right? Because he made him and Shadow with.
Is Chaos man-made?
Chaos isn't, but the lizard from Sonic Adventure 2 is fueled by Chaos, but something else to get all together.
Oh.
I think they're him and Shadow both made by his grandfather.
Live and learn.
Yeah, I remember going on Super Saiyan and fighting it. It was great. But Dr. Robotnik, I would argue he's more persistent because he's more hands-on with attacking Sonic or his plans. He's like, I'm going to go do this thing. Sonic comes to stop me. I'm going to get a big giant suit or space station and stop Sonic.
Mhm.
Dr. Wily's like, I'm going to throw more and more robots in front of you until I have to run away.
He gets in one though, but eventually Dr. Wily's in the final mech every time.
Yeah, and then he runs away. I guess Robotnik
Or gets threatened to be murdered by Mega Man in Mega Man 7. That
he
one's
flies
crazy.
yeah. Until he gets caught, he's always flying away in his spaceship untouchable.
Yeah.
Kind of like Krang. Dr. Robotnik's running away from the fastest thing alive. He has more chutzpah. I give him more respect.
Yeah,
On the chutzpah meter.
He's like, I'm a big fat dude. I'm going to run away from this feedy hedgehog. I don't have a robot between me and it. He destroyed it. So I'm going to run away.
Yeah, he might be a bit more ambitious because Wily is just like
Robotnik's ever groveled for his life. Wily grovels for his life every
single
time.
game.
Is Robotnik based off of Wily? He came out after.
Did come out after. His design's pretty different.
Yeah,
They
but
both
they
got
have
mustaches.
floating
Yeah,
things.
there's probably a good amount of that thought.
Evil technology floats. It's anti-gravity,
I can
apparently.
get behind that.
That's why Professor X is known as such an evil guy. Always floating.
I mean, by the comics, yes, he's.
Yeah, very true.
But, I don't know. I have a very simple view on technology and morality. I was raised on Transformers. Evil things fly. Good things don't fly. They have to overcome the limitation of being grounded in order to overcome evil.
Right.
And they do it anyway.
So there's no good birds.
No
or
good birds.
angels.
Birds are evil.
Yeah. Oh, when it comes to robotics, yeah.
Yeah, it comes robotics.
Well, you know what?
They got it too
Sephiroth
easy.
is the one-winged angel.
Yeah, who is evil?
Didn't he have 2 wings before? Now he only has 1?
I don't know.
Yeah, forget the. I'd never actually played.
Why did he just grow 1? Yeah, I've never played either.
I think it's
just
one-winged
grow one,
angel.
but- Yeah, but yeah, one of the most iconic songs.
So he's an angel in a circle.
yeah, he can't fly very good.
Yeah.
No. Oh, now I need to play through Final Fantasy VII at some point to really.
Well, there's
finish.
there's a remake. Did you ever play the remake?
It changes a bunch of stuff. I
but-
played the first chapter.
There's 2 chapters out, and did they make it past the first disc yet?
No, I think the
What do you
first one
mean?
ends at the end of the first disc for the
So they
original.
have not come
Wow.
to the-
And that was a 3-disc game on
Yeah.
PlayStation?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, question mark. They don't know how many installments it's going to be.
Yeah, they don't.
At this rate, it'll be 6 or 7.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've announced it will not be like 2 remake chapters per disc. That just happened to be that way the first time.
You know
So
what?
who knows how many there could be? There could be 1. There could be 7.
Man, I just realized like robots are often the enemies in old video games. Yeah, and I think a lot of that is just because they didn't want
Yeah, they want
violence
kids
against
killing
humans.
Yeah, hurting humans.
Yeah,
Same thing for a lot of cartoons. There's have robotic villains in cartoons so they can smash them up.
and
not
if
bleed.
something did have you hurting a human, that was like, oh, that's an adult game. Like that's a bad game.
Is a hole considered a villain? Like a hole you can fall in?
Yeah, yeah.
abyss?
Well, does it have a malevolent intent? Is it
Yeah.
a Sarlacc pit?
Yeah, it's sentient.
It is not sentient. However, I would argue that the blocks falling in Tetris are from a malevolent force.
Malevolent, really?
Okay.
I would think they're from a neutral, if not a benevolent
Well,
force, because
no.
it's constructive. You're building. It's just building out of control. It's like it's a cancer.
But it's
Building out of control.
It's your job to undo the building, and if you don't,
Well, it's
You die.
your job to maintain the building and keep it curtailed.
stasis.
Yes,
all right. So
keep
I do.
keep them growing too high.
Is there,
Too
you know
much.
what, Dylan? Is there Tetris lore?
Lore?
Is there a Tetris story?
I don't think there's
It's
an official
Russian.
Tetris lore.
I know.
There is.
I don't know
a
if there's
story.
a comedy song that's like the long piece is the hero of the story or something like that. But
Yeah. Yeah. It's.
What?
who's Tetris versus?
Yeah, I don't think there's any actual like story on Tetris. It's just like
Well,
puzzles are fun.
we got to make one.
Yes.
We're gonna have to make one.
One day, John Tetris was like, you know what? I want to build the Tower of Babel. I want to reach up to God and supplant God. And God's like, here's all the bricks you can take, shove them down your throat.
All right, you just
Try
made
it
a
at level 9.
You just made a very compelling story.
Actually, no, I did that backwards.
Yeah.
It'll be John Babel's like, I found a way to make unlimited bricks. And then God tasks you, the player of Tetris, to stop it from being built.
Stopping the Tower of Babel from being built
By
because John Babel is
because John Tetris is trying to build himself a tower.
I like that you brought up religion because it was robots were bad, but as were like demons and devils.
Yeah.
Super ghouls and ghosts. That is versus the devil.
Yeah.
And that is one of the hardest games ever.
Yes.
You ever
very
beat it?
few. Oh, I've played it. We have it at the shop a bunch, and I always try to see how far I can make it. So, the first 2 are kind of the classic one. There's Ghosts and Goblins.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard.
What did I say? Did I say super ghouls and ghosts?
So that is the thing.
Oh, okay.
So Ghosts and Goblins is the first one. Ghouls and Ghosts is the second one.
Oh.
Ghosts and Goblins is dang near impossible, especially in its original incarnation. It actually got easier on the NES, which, believe it or not, that game's insane. I've never made it to the end. I made it barely past the second level out of 6, I think.
Yeah, like the big ogre guy, or after that, or Cyclops or whatever.
Dylan, could you look up the
Not quite.
enemies in
you'll have to be more
Ghosts and
specific,
Goblins?
actually.
There's a big guy in front of a gate that you fight at one of the
Yeah,
bosses.
so the first boss
That's the
is
first
like,
boss. Okay.
The first boss is in front of the gate, and then you get a key to go in. Ghosts and Goblins.
bad guys, enemies.
Yeah.
Because if I'm correct, you fight a devil and Satan.
Yes, they're separate.
Okay. There you go. Just that one right there. That Ghosts and Goblins
Wiki.
wiki is fine. Hold on. Oh, that's right. And then this is my favorite spin-off of a bad guy taking over, Demon's Crest.
Yes.
So
Gargoyles.
Firebrand, who's
Yeah,
on the
Firebrand,
right,
yeah.
is he called Firebrand or just the
So
Red
he's
Devil?
called the Red Aremer. in this.
This is cool.
Arimer.
Keep scrolling down.
Yeah, so
Neat.
these are so a lot of those are from Ghouls and Ghosts, the ones that look awesome because it's the second game in 16-bit. So one of them is straight up like Satan has kidnapped Arthur's girlfriend.
Yes. Okay. That's what I'm thinking of.
And the beginning of Ghouls and Ghosts is awesome because Satan rains down lightning bolts that kill everyone, including your girlfriend. She's shot dead by a laser.
What?
Arthur runs in from out of town on his horse, and he just starts going to Satan. I guess to get her soul back, but everyone's shot dead by lasers.
I've never played the Super Nintendo one, but I love Demon's Crest. That might be the best example of a bad guy taking over a franchise and doing their own thing.
Well, it's interesting because that one takes place in the demon realm. So there are bad guys and good guys in the demon realm, and like Firebrand is a good guy. He's trying to do what's right for the people of the demon, but he's a demon.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I guess
that's an incredible game. That thing you fight at the end of that game is so weird looking.
I never saw the end.
You never saw the end of Demon's Crest?
I need to play it.
According to this weird villains wiki I just found, Arimer's, like the Red Arimer was the first villain programmed to react to player attacks.
Oh, he
I was trying to figure out what Arimer means, and I couldn't find it, but it was like Firebrand was the first character that was designed to like avoid your attacks or do certain things
no
in
matter
response
what.
to you.
Yeah, like you. So in the first game, all Arthur can do is throw the javelin forward,
horizontally,
right? Horizontally, and the Red Arimer comes at you, and you don't know if he's coming at you and stopping, and like no matter what you do, he does what will screw you.
Yeah,
and it is so frustrating to fight that guy, and he's the ultimate boss of that game because just like even though you go through the game 1,000 times, every time you get to that guy, you're like, I'm gonna die. Like I know how to beat the boss. The boss I can understand.
Oh my God, you just brought up something great. Villains you fear. Like if you see them, you already know you're in for the shit.
Yeah.
Like, okay. What was his name? Something Joe in the Mega Man series. He had the
what
the heck is that thing called?
Hammer Joe?
Hammer Joe.
Yeah.
Like a Hammer Joe when you see you're just like fuck.
But that's how I used to feel about the Hammer Brothers in Super Mario Brothers. I was always like, oh, now I got to stop and navigate these dudes and they're like random attack patterns.
You actually tense up and your hands start to sweat when you see those
anything
things.
else. I'm like, oh, I'm going to jump on it. I'm going to avoid it. I know it's pattern, and it's like randomness.
Geez, the Medusa head in Castlevania.
That's right. Just what any swooping enemy in Castlevania. It's so many enemy in Castlevania.
I mean, Ninja Gaiden, the birds kill you in one hit in Ninja Gaiden, and like very few other things do. It's like, why do the birds kill this ninja?
Yeah,
but you hate them.
Ninja's a bird's natural enemy, obviously.
Yes.
Oh yeah. What else is like just a pain when you see it? Oh, I could think of one. I don't know if this was in the original Resident Evil, but it was definitely in the Resident Evil re-release on GameCube, where the zombies would get up and chase you if you didn't light them on fire.
Yeah.
And they'd be much faster and crazier.
The red zombies. Yeah.
Yeah, red runners or something like that. Those were terrifying.
A lot in that game was terrifying, man. That was...
Yeah, I just love running away from stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, games... So, and the gameplay of running away is actually pretty common. Very effective. At the end of every Metroid game is run away from the explosion, right?
Yeah.
And that's like, I get tense every time, even though I know, like, I got plenty of time.
Have you heard of Poppy's Playland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with it? Like the beast just shows up and you run away screaming?
Yeah.
Dude, I love stuff like that. That's so fun. That's so fun.
YouTube bait, right? It's just like, you're gonna scream on camera when you're streaming this. That's what you do.
Man, villain, I just want to go back. Why did you immediately dismiss King Koopa Bowser?
Because, like you said, like King Koopa's not evil. Except for maybe the first game where he's the least understood. Well, most of it is he is doing bad things for what he thinks is a good reason.
What, to get the princess?
Yeah, he wants to rule Mushroom Kingdom. So he's going to kidnap the princess, force her to marry him, or force her to be with him so he can rule the Mushroom Kingdom.
Is that why? Is that the whole point?
Because like later it's like he's in love with Peach.
Yeah, like it becomes like I don't know if it becomes reverse Stockholm syndrome where now he's later games he's in love with her and trying, but he always wants to rule it.
The latest entry into the Mario
Oh yeah, it's explicit in Odyssey.
Yeah.
I mean,
You break up their wedding.
Bowser's got
his wedding to her.
He's got like pure incel vibes, like the whole time. He's like, this girl won't get me, well, I'll show them. And
there's so many games where he gets progressively more and more aggressive in trying to force her to be with him in whatever regard.
Mm-hmm.
The first game, he's just like, I'm going to turn everybody, including the king of the Mushroom Kingdom, in the blocks.
Yeah.
I win. And then Mario defeats him. He has a princess just because he doesn't want to turn a princess in the blocks for whatever reason. After that, he starts getting more and more obsessed with her. So he becomes more and more obsessed. I wouldn't say that's a different type of issue.
Do you think there's an arc for Bowser where he doesn't start obsessed with Peach, but then he's like, you know what?
It gets more and more and more. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's a fire-breathing turtle, not dragon.
Yeah. But like, if he was in charge of, he has his own kingdom, I don't know why he wants to take care over other kingdoms so much, except he's a dick. I don't know if he's a dick or if he's evil. I guess
regardless,
that's why
he wants to expand his territory.
Yeah. But I guess that's why I've initially dismissed him. I don't know if he's a dick or if he's evil.
Yeah,
he can be an evil dick, or he can just be a self-centered dick and do evil things.
The more we talk about it, I always thought like, oh, he's so simple, but he is a bit ambiguous in what he's actually trying to do.
I suppose so.
Every game's different. Every game's clear, but they're all kind of different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first one, like, all right, he takes over the Mushroom Kingdom. Not entirely sure why he has Peach, right? That's kind of weird. Mario 2, he's not in it. Mario 3, same thing as Mario 1. Like, he takes over all these kingdoms, right? He's got grassland, and he takes them all over with the airships, with his Koopalings.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of one of those villains that just shows up, the sun. When the sun tries to kill you in
that
Mario
makes
3.
Negative sense.
And you can kill it.
Yeah, but why?
It should turn night the second you do that, by the way.
Yeah, as soon as you kill it, it should be dark in the background. B, it's the sun. If it comes and attacks you, you're not going to win.
You can't kill it. Wait, you can kill it?
Yeah. If you get a star, you kill it and it falls over and then it just doesn't attack you anymore.
I've never done that.
Can we see that?
Actually, no.
Killing angry sun, Mario 3.
It comes back after a time, I believe.
Yeah, it does swoop back.
It will come back after a time. Like before you beat the stage, it comes back. But yeah, you can get rid of it for a while with the star. I think
Mario killing the sun? I gotta say, I've actually never seen this. I've played this game 100 times.
Yeah, so I guess that's not the sun. It's an enemy that is.
Well, it's the sun.
It's not any other stage.
Is it a celestial body?
It shows up for the first time and only time on this stage and attacks him.
I think it's the actual.
It's a fun homage to the player. Oh, look, the sun's attacking him. It's all set up as a play though in this one. So
I was just gonna say. Technically, it's not the sun. Technically, it is something on strings.
Oh, you can kill it with the Koopa shell?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
the sun ain't nothing.
That's right. And then you can go down one of these secret holes.
Yeah, if you if you go down the hole and like
purposely didn't get a star.
I think he's waiting for the sun to come back, or he's trying to hit it at the right spot.
Oh, okay, you got the sun. Okay. Thank God. That's actually the most annoying thing. You watch speedruns of this game; they purposefully get different cards so that it takes a long time to do this cutscene. So they purposefully get the wrong one.
Wow.
And it bugs me in my soul every time, but I'm like, I get it. But like, oh, you want to match those cards.
But they're right, because the
whole fireworks show. You don't got time for that. Speedrunning. Yeah. Go
versus
next level. Yeah.
But yeah.
So Bowser, man, now I'm thinking like, what is it? Yeah, sometimes Bowser wants to take over the Mushroom Kingdom. Sometimes he wants to just steal the princess. It's all over the place.
Sometimes he just wants to get his house back, like in Mario RPG.
Yes.
Well, that's another thing. Like,
that's right. He is actually displaced in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like whenever he's divorced from the concept of kidnapping a woman that does not want to be kidnapped, does not want to be with him, you divorce him from that. He's just a sad sack loser. Like all the games where you get to play as him or alongside him, he's like, I'm just trying to get my kids back. I'm trying to get my kingdom back. I guess I'll use your help.
Reluctant villains.
Somebody's inside of me. Get inside of me and beat them up for me, please. Like,
yeah.
Otherwise, he's not a villain. If he had everything he wanted, he'd just be chilling with all the stuff he wants. I would say he's greedy. I'd say he's a dick. I wouldn't necessarily say he's evil. He's not like he's not like
he's not an evil clown.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't want to watch the world burn.
He doesn't poison towns and kill everyone.
Yeah, he wants the world to be his.
But then you think, all right, Wario starts. He's got an interesting arc because he starts as a greedy guy who steals Mario's castle in his first appearance, Mario Land 2. And that's all he does. He steals the castle, and Mario's whole thing is like, well, now I need to get the 6 golden coins that are the key to my castle so I can go in and beat up Wario.
Yep.
That's actually, you think about that game, it doesn't make any dang sense. Why are there 6 golden coins
Why does
in
Mario have
different
a
lands?
castle?
Yeah, that's the only game he has a
bought
castle.
it after the events of Mario Land.
With all the coins, he's
From Tatanga.
all the souls
He has his own land, and he has also a giant robot mech building.
Yeah, the
that is
Mario
also-
Land.
The Mario
Mario
Land, where
Land,
you
yeah.
enter his crotch. It's a strange game. Yeah.
It's a great game.
Oh, it's great. It's really good.
But your point is that Wario has an arc. He's not just about 6 golden coins.
Right.
But he is always about greed.
always about greed. Yeah. Well, after the first one, because the first one, he's not really all about greed is good.
He's like a treasure hunter more. In
yeah,
some of
he's
those.
like a treasure hunter later on.
Mhm.
Because now he's just like, I'm the evil Mario, and I stole his castle, and that's all.
He's the bad Mario.
Well,
the bad-
literally,
literally
because
the bad
wa means bad.
Bad, yeah.
And
So he's bad Mario. He's not
But-
necessarily. He's
but
not
then-
even
actually, he's just bad Rio.
But then there's a couple
About Duran
enemies in
Duran.
that because there's Captain Syrup, who you see in the Mario Land 2, and that is the pirate lady who has the lamp.
Mm.
And
She's in Mario Land too?
yeah, because you fight the genie before you fight Wario,
Oh.
and the genie comes out of that lamp that
you
he
also
steals.
fight the 3 little pigs.
Yes, you do. The 3 little pig heads.
Yes.
Man, Wario's great. And then Mario Land 3, Wario Land, you are Wario, and then he's like, well, I'm greedy. I want all the coins. All I want is the coins.
And then he gets 3 additional games where that's the goal, and then a 4th one called Wario World, and then another one called Wario Land Shake It.
Yes. And that's all
He had
about
a
the
good
money.
amount of games. Jeez.
And then he opens a software development studio.
Yeah.
And then he likes to fart. Yeah.
But he isn't a villain in that series in WarioWare. He's an entrepreneur.
He's a greedy, well, he intentionally exploits people. That's his whole thing.
Mm.
But he's an entrepreneur. So he's a capitalist, but maybe not necessarily evil. He's just exploitative.
But he
He's
gets some
exploitative.
friends.
Yeah, well, he
Yeah.
gets friends and he exploits those friends, but the friends seem largely okay with it.
Because
He's
they're
like,
all grooving, having fun, doing mini games.
yeah, they're like, oh, yeah, we'll make mini games. And he's like, yes, and I'll take your work and I won't pay you and I'll make all this money. Like, that's his storyline.
And he
like,
says
this
it
is-
out loud.
Yes, he
they're
says
just like,
that.
well, we like making games, and people don't really get paid in this world anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I just gotta get new Afro
It's
picks.
Jimmy T.
Yeah,
All the characters, man, I love WarioWare. But we haven't had a Wario adventure in a long time.
No.
I would love an Odyssey or Mario 3D World style Mario game. Wario.
Super Wario Odyssey, I would buy in a heartbeat. Like,
Just take it and recolor everything yellow.
no, just
They
like
have the hat be pants or
through
something.
the lens
Those
of Wario,
pants.
like everything's about greed and like different
And
environments.
you have different moves. You know, like Wario can be infected with things. He doesn't die.
Yeah.
He just gets a power because he's infected. Also found out that it
Mario's
was
got syphilis.
that I believe the Wario Land developers took over Metroid for Fusion. So I think Metroid Fusion is from the Wario Land team.
That team's great then.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
They didn't know what they were working on. Like it was something crazy like that of like, here you go. And it's like, all right, we know how to make a Wario Land. How do we make a Metroid? Like, it's interesting. Watch the men talk. It's better.
Yeah.
Well, any final thoughts on villains or any villain that you think deserved a little more time in the sun?
I'm always will forever be disappointed there was not a better Transformers video game where you got a proper like boss battle against like Megatron at the end. It's like you said with a sub boss. You could have Starscream as a sub boss. It would be more fun if I would think than Megatron because it's more fun to beat up on Starscream. He's a little piece of crap. I'm also very disappointed we have not seen more of the true like I am in this to be evil villain because in so many games it's like, oh, I am in it to take over the world or the universe, and it's like,
and then what?
yeah, and then what? And why does that matter to the little person in this universe? Like they're stopping you because you take something from them, like their kingdom, like with Dragon Quest, like what's the villain?
Well, it's a different one. In
Well,
each
yeah,
one. The
yeah, but I
Dragon
mean-
Lord in the first
But
one.
it's normally like, yeah, like you're fighting somebody who controls dragons, or he is a dragon.
He controls dragons. He's the Lord of Dragons, but he's also not human. It's sort of unclear.
Yeah.
That was back in the day when it was like, and this is enemy.
Yes.
The enemy.
Well, yeah. But like,
He is your enemy.
yeah, but
Yes.
there's a reason for that. It's lost in the annals of translation, but there's a reason for that. When you have an enemy that's just like, oh, I want to reset life every 50,000 years. It's
Yeah.
like, but you've done it 20 times already,
Mhm.
and there's still life with spaceships and stuff. It's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. It's not that it's important to me because I live here, but only that. Like, that's like, if it's like, oh, here I'm a villain with a reason. I want to be evil for evil's sake, and a hero's like, I want to stop evil for stopping evil's sake. Like, because I do good because I'm a good guy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, there aren't, like, I can't think of any of those
I wasn't thinking of the inverse
pure,
of like good just for good's sake because I'm good, bad just for bad sake because I'm bad.
Now, I would
even though that's how the original games were.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was
Contra.
they were paid. They were military. So, but I want to see a game where
We're paid.
like, I want to see a game where like the villain is exploiting the hero's need to do good and be a hero to their own gain. You know, a Xanatos Gambit, if you will, where they're like, yeah, you stop me, keep stopping me, and then that gives me all the power I need in order to do blank.
Well, that makes me think of like in a Spider-Man series, there's Superior Spider-Man, which is when Doc Ock took over the body of Peter Parker and decides to do good with it because he's being haunted by Peter Parker the good. So he's like, you know what? I'll be a better hero than you ever were, and does.
Well, yeah, because he was haunted because he punched somebody's jaw off the first time he hit him and was like, oh, Spider-Man's not stronger than I thought. He wasn't hitting me very hard.
I want more games. I think villains where you start the first half of the game is you're one character and you enact something to happen, and the second half of the game is undoing it as the opposite side.
Oh, that's funny. I thought you were gonna say we didn't talk about this, but isn't there like a very famous Star Wars game where you find out towards the end you were the bad guy?
Yeah, Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah. Where like the player finds out, oh, I'm a villain in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, the one you were fighting against the whole game. It's like, wait, it's me.
Gleefully evil. I think we need a little more of that. Gleefully evil.
Are there any games where you play as a villain, as an evil character, and not as a misunderstood or anti-hero type character?
Sure there is.
Well, it's like a well-known one anybody knows.
I mean, I would argue
I can't think of any
all
right
of
now,
Grand Theft Auto plays that fantasy of like, I'm a bad guy.
But they're always
the baddest guy.
Yeah, there's always antagonists in those games though.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like, I'm going to be like, Saints Row probably comes closer to that of like, I want to be the best gang there is.
Conker's bad.
But there's still all antagonists. Like, but Conker's fighting against someone, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
he's just more like
that's a great villain.
Self-centered jerk more than evil.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I want to see like
evil. Yeah, I should. There's gotta be one.
Where's that? There's Dungeon Keeper. There's this whole.
Oh yeah.
You are the evil mastermind, and heroes are trying to get in, and you're trying to stop them.
Cool.
There's one.
So I was thinking, I realized like one of the best villains turned heroes is the original Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong went on to have adventures and has his own villain of King K. Rool.
Was he evil before that, or was
he stole your girlfriend?
Yeah, that's not evil. That's antagonistic. Like, I guess a whole nother conversation though. Like,
villain versus antagonist. If you go to Donkey Kong Jr., Mario puts him in a damn cage.
Yeah,
and is very mean to him.
And Donkey Kong
and fights a baby, like
Donkey Kong
baby
Jr. math. He makes him do math.
That's
physical math. That's probably the most physical villainous thing he's done. Climb these vines divisionally.
But I'll tell you what I like though is Donkey Kong makes off with Pauline, Mario's then girlfriend. King K. Rool just takes his bananas.
Yeah.
All he does is remove his bananas from his banana horde, and that's the point of Donkey Kong Country. It's my favorite villain ever. I'm gonna take your bananas.
How many bananas did he take?
Catch
me.
Some of his horde.
He took the whole horde. Well, yeah, he's gonna starve.
How many bananas are gonna be on this short?
Yeah, the Donkey Kong extended family's gonna starve. He's got to get them bananas back.
He literally walks in and cries that his bananas aren't there.
I remember now.
And then he there's a note. I took all your bananas. Okay, but now what are you gonna do?
We don't have.
And then he becomes a pirate in the next game and takes Donkey Kong and again leaves Diddy Kong a note. I took your boy. Now what? No other words are spoken.
We need an action or adventure game or platformer where Donkey Kong is fighting against Mario. If you want to take this full circle, you want to
Mario versus Donkey Kong.
That's a puzzle game.
Yeah, puzzle. We need an action game.
And Super Smash Brothers.
And that's even less. That's like Mario. Like I think Donkey Kong steals. Yeah. No, I know what the minis one is. Donkey Kong steals the minis of Mario or something. Mario's trying to get his minis back.
Yeah, that's the sequel to the Donkey Kong 94.
Yeah.
Which is just Mario versus Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that's just Donkey Kong again.
One of the best video games ever made.
It is,
Easily.
yes. But it's just complicated Donkey Kong, which makes it great.
Complicated Donkey Kong. That's great.
That's all I want in life.
The title.
But
Donkey
like,
Kong Advanced.
But yeah, one where Donkey Kong's like, I'm going to go. Or the game where you go to steal Pauline. And you're fighting through all
that'd
these
be fun.
roadblocks in order to steal Pauline from Mario.
Rampage.
Yeah, you're a bad guy.
You just play as straight up movie monster villains.
Yeah,
movie
but you are
monsters
technically the human inside that monster.
Yeah.
that became the monster.
Yeah. And then you're eating people.
You're eating
You
people
are
on
a
the
people.
toilet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad.
Also a bad movie with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, I didn't even see that one. And we like seeing bad video game movies. And
It was.
Oh,
it
we should
was
do
weird.
that. That should be an episode.
yeah, bad video game movies. Next time.
You mean all of them except for Sonic?
There's a good what's the one other than Sonic that's a good
I
one?
would say the most
Mario
recent Mario
Brothers.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's reigning king of
I would say Mario's a
Best
fun
reviewed.
movie. I wouldn't say it's a good video game movie.
Save it for the podcast.
Yeah, we'll do that when the Zelda Netflix show
Well, actually-
drops.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh boy.
by that same.
Or no. Everybody watch Secret Level.
Yeah.
That new-
we were talking
Amazon
about that. We
Prime
were talking about
thing.
that earlier.
We're doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna watch. I might just watch the Mega Man episode.
Yeah, I
but-
was just going to just watch Mega Man and Pac-Man, and the rest of it
Yeah.
I haven't heard great things about.
Pac-Man's in it. Well, I think that's Tubby Talk.
Yes, I think so.
Thank you very much for joining us. Please like, please subscribe, please ask questions. We love being part of the community.
Ring that bell.
Tell us your favorite villains. I'll explain maybe why they are not villains, or maybe why they're more villainous than you think.
And are there any other villains that force you to do physical math? Find out next time on Tubby Talk. Bye.
Bye.
YUNKJunk!